I'm so glad that the intro has drums, percussions, and everything because it wakes me up. Hey everyone, you're watching the Premier League, which is sponsored by Twitch TV, hosted by Angel, of course brought to you guys by DotaCommentaries.com. It is 5 a.m. in California, but we are waking up. I'm Luminous, and Persia's, what, 7 a.m. where you live?
Yeah, man, I got it easy here.
Yes. Well, actually, Team Dire here, Team Fire playing on the Dire side. It's 5 a.m. for them as well. I feel their pain. Absolute legend right now. I think it's like somewhere around midnight, so they're still going strong. But that's what we're watching here today. Absolute Legend versus Fire, and these are arguably the two top teams in the Dota scene right now. I think Navi's making a big case for themselves, but these two teams are kind of the big hype.
Yeah, and yesterday we just saw Absolute Legends versus Navi, and Navi just pretty easily 2-0'd them there.
Yep.
And it was pretty surprising, but I thought Absolute Legends was going to do a little better, and Navi even went for weird picks. They picked up a twin-headed dragon and a Sven in their second game, and they still won pretty handily. It was really interesting.
When Navi pick up heroes, it ain't weird. It just works, I guess. Was it twin head solo mid? Just for the sake of curiosity.
No, he was like a dual mid support.
Mixed.
I can't remember who he's supporting. I think he was supporting Sven mid. It was like a twin-headed dragon Sven mid, something like that.
All right,
weird stuff.
So this game is Absolute Legend versus Fire, and picks and bans are well underway. Brewmatter and Anti-Mage is going to be the ban choice for the Dire side, and Absolute Legend is going to get rid of the Darkseer. So we're going to see some interesting heroes because these two, or excuse me, Darkseer generally don't get that first ban phase. Invoker is going to be the ban. So is it going to be the Prophet, Night Stalker, or is it going to be something else?
Yeah, and Fire has been kind of the team that has been kind of shuffling the Darkseer towards the earlier ban stage. They seem to really like the hero, and I was actually hoping to watch a game with them because I'm kind of curious how they solo him on the long lane so effectively. I've tried it out a couple times myself, and it's not easy to do. But Nature's Prophet is going to be the first pick from them. And that's going to leave Absolute Legends with 2 picks here. I'm guessing we're probably going to see something like a Night Stalker and maybe another hero. Maybe they're going to do their famed Night Stalker Tinker gameplay strategy.
Do they have a Night Stalker Tinker lineup? I'm thinking of Chen and something else. That's kind of...
the one that I've seen them do, this is probably maybe a couple weeks or a month ago, they would pick up a Night Stalker early, they'd wait till their last pick up a Tinker, and then they would just rush and Agams on Night Stalker as fast as possible, and then at that point, if they tried to push a tower, they would just do Missile Rearm, Missile Rearm, Missile Rearm, because they would have vision of that, and it was really effective. It was pretty cool to see a couple times.
Cool stuff. Hopefully we're going to see something like that. Although, I think... we're going to see that, Chen. In Dota 2, like every week, we get a new metagame. At least that's how it feels like, because teams are just adjusting so fast. And that's actually pretty fun for us to watch, because it's difficult for us to predict. Because, you know, a couple weeks ago, Darkseer was nowhere near anywhere. He was just forgotten hero, and now he's, well, first pick, first ban. So that's very interesting to watch here. Venomancer is going to be the second pick in conjunction of that Chen here for the Absolute Legend. So great pushing power, great counter pushing power. And that's something they'll need against Nature's Prophet, because not only can he gank, he is a mobile pusher. And he's a great counter pusher in his own sense. So I haven't really casted too much Fire games. Can you tell me a little bit about their playstyle, what they like to do, what they don't like to do?
Well, I haven't watched a ton of their games myself, but I do seem to remember that they're actually very good at adjusting to Absolute Legends playstyle. And Absolute Legends is, I mean, both teams are very deliberate and extremely, I guess, organized, or deliberate is the best way to describe it. They don't take aggressive team fights. That they have a medium, they don't take risky team fights, you know. They're very deliberate about their team fights and their ganks and things like that. And I've actually seen them shut down Absolute Legends style, generally with the Venomancer. The previous games I'd seen, they banned, they kind of got shut down by Absolute Legends early pushing style, and they ended up countering it by banning out a Chen and then picking up a Venomancer and making sure that the pushes just never happened early and they weren't able to take their advantage. So it kind of resulted in a weaker Venomancer, but it was very deliberate. So they're obviously very good at adapting, and I've seen them do some really awesome things in some tournaments before.
Oh, instead of shutting down the push, I think they're going to be the pusher here as they pick up Shadow Shaman, which does have the massive reward. And of course, Wrath of Nature from Prophet will allow them a lot of pushing power. So I believe that's going to be the case. Or if you're going to go for Mega Ganks, well, Shadow Shaman gives you that with Ether Shock and Hex. Great ganking spells as well. And I like how you brought up how the Fire team is really safe when it comes to team fights. I think that's what Absolute Legend hates the most. They are a very safe team themselves. So in that regard, we might have a slower game but Absolute Legend loves to prey on overcommitment by enemy teams. They love to prey on out of position team, and judging from how you're describing Fire, that doesn't sound like what Fire will do. So maybe with a more aggressive lineup like we're seeing right now, that might be the case. So it's kind of hard to call this game, but right now these picks look very promising. We're going to see a very action-packed game so far.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really awesome. The last pick out of Fire in the first round here is going to be a Vengeful Spirit. It's going to give them some more pushing power and better ganking potentially. Stun with Wave of Terror will be very nice. Maybe we'll even see yet another carry-ish Vengeful Spirit coming out. We saw Absolute Legends play yesterday against Navi even. Didn't work nearly as well, but I think he went for a different build. He went for a Fast Aghanim's, Fast Dish. It was kind of delayed, unfortunately. It didn't really work out for them that game, but it was still interesting to see. And Windrunner will be the last pick for Absolute Legends.
Okay, Purge, you gotta help me out here. Is it GG Shostakovich?
Shostakovich.
Close enough. Shostakovich.
Shostakovich.
GG Shostakovich is a person from Ghost of Gamer, and recently he's been compiling data from a lot of pro games. And one thing I actually jumped out to me the most is Vengeful Spirit as a support has been trending like crazy lately. She's been picked a lot and she's winning a lot of games. So statistically wise, that might be an interesting fact. A lot of those Venge games are carry Venge games, so I'm not too sure whether that is whether that means anything. But support Venge is actually trending quite a bit lately. So that's more power to Fire as they pick this one up. Dragon Knight is going to be the ban against Absolute Legend, which makes a lot of sense because it's a hero that they pick up a lot. And I like the Skeleton King ban, which makes me think that Absolute Legend will be picking into a lot of burst AoE ultimate spells, whether that's going to be an Epicenter Sand King, spells that, or maybe even a Ravage for Matthias, spells that they cannot really spam as an ultimate spell, and of course Skeleton would like to soak all of that up. So I think that might be an indication of what they want to go into. Beastmaster is going to be the ban here for Fire, as Absolute Legend loves to pick Beastmaster up.
Yeah, Skeleton King's kind of an interesting hero. It's been more and more popular. I actually love the fact that he got that huge buff to his ultimate in the latest patches, and then the teams just continued playing him in the tournament version anyways, where those buffs were not even applied.
Right.
So they still think he's good enough, and then he's going to get another buff after that. And what they use him for is just super, super tanky. They can purchase a Fast Hand of Midas probably, and still have that ultimate at 6, so even though they're not very survivable by going for the Fast Hand of Midas, he's not going to end up dying too much if played correctly. And then when they're pushing, he can be really aggressive, wailing on towers and stuff. If he gets out of position and dies, he respawns and forces them to use a lot of their abilities there, and then this team can actually team fight. Kind of an interesting strategy, and it works out pretty well.
Void is going to be the last ban, as we see the last 4 bans geared towards the melee heroes, great tankers, and whatnot. So both teams right now, if you look at the lineup, extremely squishy. Whoever have the Ancient Apparition on lineup will actually be able to do a ton of damage to enemy team as well things like Chain Frost and Tide Hunter. Kind of interesting to see those two supports, the Lich and Tide, kind of phasing out, because it was just a couple of weeks ago that they were first picked and first banned because they were such big AoE teamfight specialists and as a great laner as well, and they're nowhere to be found anymore. So Mirana's going to be the 4th pick here for Team Fire, and this looks like nothing a carry lineup. They're going to just go gank. They're going to kill stuff fast.
Like. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. AL was expecting them to pick up a hard carry, but they just went for the Mirana instead. I mean, maybe they were going to go for a Skeleton King or a Void or something like that, but I just checked the statistics, and you're right about the Vengeful Spirit. She's got a 80% win ratio for 4 games, so it's not a giant data set, but still a pretty good trend there. And the only heroes that are sitting about that high is someone like Broodmother, who also has about an 80% win ratio. So yeah, she's been doing pretty well lately, and it's actually giving me a Lifestealer pickup for Absolute Legends, and that's a hero that has been seen more and more play recently, and could be very interesting to see how he performs. There's actually a lot of squishy heroes on the Dire team. It's often tough to play against heroes like Priest of the Moon, and maybe there's a couple other blinking heroes that come to mind, but if Vengeful Spirit or Rasta can't pick up their Ghost Scepters, man, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Lifestealer can just do that open wounds and hit really hard, and I'm actually expecting him to get a Mjolnir, an item that's been a lot more popular lately in the metagame.
Yep. Of course, the extra attack speed is going to be really nice. The creep clearing ability is going to be brutal against this pushing combination coming from the Prophet and the Shadow Shaman. I don't know what the Fire team's going to pick into right now, But I want to... Oh, Ancient Apparition, as mentioned earlier. But I hope Absolute Legend pick into a Storm Spirit or a Puck or something like this. Something as a great Blink initiation so the Lifestealer can invest into it. Can you imagine like Storm coming in and Lifestealer popping out? Whoever they're going to go on is dead for sure unless they get swapped. So the great initiation is going to be there. I think Puck would just fit this lineup perfectly, but maybe they're going to go for something else because they're lacking the stuns at this point. Shaco Shot is their only stun. And the Dire team is not exactly the most mobile lineup there, but they have so many stuns that they could even keep this Lifestealer immobile for quite a bit if he doesn't have Rage activated.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and I'm feeling bad for the Chen right now because they did pick up an Ancient Apparition to hard counter him there in a lot of ways. Because once again, the Ice Blast, the Ancient Apparition ulti does prevent you from healing. So at the very least, Lifestealer can rage that off and actually get some lifesteal just from auto attacking by Feast. But I mean, it's going to be kind of a problem, especially for heroes like Windrunner as well. She's very squishy to magic nukes generally, and generally relies on a mech to heal up. And they will pick up a Storm Spirit, so they will be doing the Storm Lifestealer combo. Storm Spirit's going to rush a fast blocking bar, and then he's going to ball lightning into the team fight, jumping down a support hero, and Lifestealer's going to come out and just start slapping.
Yep. So they do have another quote-unquote stun here with Electric Vortex. Not the best, but it'll do. It'll do. In terms of lane here coming from the Dire side, I have no idea what to expect because they have great barrage of solo heroes. Rasa could solo, the Mirana could solo, AA and Prophet could solo to certain extents. So your guess is good as mine. I think they have to jungle a Prophet here, which is pretty odd to see lately.
You don't think they're going to do a Prophet Venge AA tri-lane?
That's the best tri-lane I've heard of today, and I just woke up.
Okay, and then they'll solo Rasta mid and Nature's Prophet on the safe lane, I'm guessing.
We'll see.
I don't know. They might do aggressive. I think that might be a bad idea against the Chen, though. We'll see, though.
Alright, looks like all 5 is going top. Let's talk about who's playing what here. TC's going to be on the roster. Hannah Montana. I cannot believe I'm saying that. It's playing the Prophet here. Jo going to be playing the Mirana here. IX Mike going to be the Vengeful Spirit. And Fluff and Stuff playing the Ancient Apparition. And they're going all 5 top, presumably trying to catch fire. The other day I was casting Waga, talking about Absolute Legends playstyle. They always love to do this level 1 massive roam, plant the ward kind of thing, and they might just run into a very, very unfavorable situation right now. We'll see.
Yeah, they actually ran into Navi yesterday, and it didn't work out too well for the favor, but there will be vision of both teams. I think they have spotted each other. I love when they're just slightly separated by a row of trees like this. The ward will go down, Black Shaitan noticing everybody's there. The arrow's coming through, it's not going to hit anybody there, and now they're 2 grouped up. The Gale will land on 2 heroes. Open wounds on the Vengeful Spirit as well. Shaitan is going to be slapping all over him. Is IX Mike going to go down? I think he will. And Shaitan will get the last hit, but he gets nuked down immediately afterwards. Pretty good trade, though, because he does get the first blood and the golden level advantage from that. And I think they may just disengage you. There aren't too many disables coming from the Dire team. There's the Sprout. And Snoopy is now going to eat a tango and going to be running away from this, but he has to commit, and he does end up going down. Ale definitely overcommitting there. They could have just backed up. Arrow's going to land on the Windrunner. That's 4-second stun. She's going to die as well, so not a good trade there for Absolute Legends. They should have just taken that first blood and backed out, man.
I think they were trying to back out, but the Sprout was able to find them, and the rest was history because Fluff and Stuff allowed to get in the cold feet. And I think after that they should still back out, but they keep trying to rescue the hero, and they gave up more. 1-3 in favor of 5 right here, and they absolutely took advantage of what Absolute Legend loves to do, which is roam at the top lane very early on. And for the laning, it seems like we're going to have a Vengeful AA and a Mirana tri-lane. This is extremely nuke heavy. I think both of them will play in the jungle, do quite a bit of pulls, and then work from there as Mirana gets most of the farm. And it's going to be the Rasa on the mid lane, and it's going to be a Prophet on the bot. He's going to have some trouble, but given that he got quite a bit of EXP early on, that's going to be very, very helpful. For the Radiant side, they're going to run a Venomancer and Nyx mid lane. I didn't expect that, but it's going to work out fine here.
Yeah, and he was able to finish his magic wand by getting the first blood there. And he's going to be able to build up some charges, which will be very, very useful if any ganks eventually end up coming on the mid lane, which is actually very expected since they are running that tri-lane top. There's not going to be a whole bunch that that Venge and Ancient Apparition can do on average. And look at that, Vengeful Spirit already shifting down to the mid lane so that they can help put pressure on Black Shaitan playing that lifesteal, which is very smart. He actually does not have Rage yet, but he's going to need to pick it up soon here because this is a very dangerous dual lane, the Vengeful Spirit Shadow Shaman.
Yep. Venomancer is one of the better defensive hero there is because when you're going up against, let's say, Lifestealer for this case here, you're most likely going to clump up, and that slow is just so ridiculous. 50% slow, which lasts an hour literally, and you know they're gonna have a tough time chasing a Lifestealer who is fairly tanky, especially with that magic wand that you pointed out. But let's look at the jungle here as we see the Godot smoked out with the Chen, and he does have a Satyr creep, not the best ganking creep, but with open wounds and Venomancer slow, they could actually get a kill on Shadow Shaman if he's a little bit out of position. Looks like he will be. There's the open wound, there's going to be a Gale Shockwave, Test of Faith, and a couple of right clicks. TC's going to go down. Chen unfortunately picks up that kill. I believe Shatan would love to have that one, but a kill's a kill, and they're going to happy to remove Shadow Shaman from the EXP of the mid lane.
Yeah, it's going to help out quite a bit. All those early Chen ganks really do make a big difference. And that's the scariest thing about a Lifestealer Venomancer. The slow potential is ridiculous. Open Wounds is probably one of the best disables early game on a hard carry, just for the fact that the slow that it applies is really serious, man. It doesn't stun, of course, but coupled with another slow, you know, they might as well not be moving there, and it lasts for a very long duration. So nice and easy kill there. Risk is on the top lane, playing that Windrunner. He's level 2 currently. He's doing moderately well, but there's a pretty big creep wave pulling here, and he hasn't gotten a lot of experience so far. Priest of the Moon actually at level 4 with about 1,000 gold, so he's definitely not doing extremely well, but that's kind of the purpose of a Windrunner on the top lane there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd like to see them descend the Ancient Apparition back mid instead of the Vengeful Spirit back mid. For this all intents and purposes, it won't make too much of a difference as a secondary support, helping out the Shadow Shaman. But in terms of killing the top lane, with Ancient Apparition in position, they can't really do anything to the Windrunner. It's as long as that arrow don't latch by itself. But if you had a Vengeful Spirit, for example, you could get into some cheesy long arrow or magic missile into a long arrow combo. But with Kofi, that's basically impossible because Windrun could always get her out of position, get her safe. So of course Ancient Apparition has better range in the mid lane as well. So interesting to see them descend Avenge mid instead of Fluff and stuff. But he's doing okay on the top lane. He's pulling, getting some EXP. And he is hitting level 3 very critically. He's going to be a higher level than most other supports in game. And after he hits level 6, that's when the magic starts to happen with the ganks with the Prophet.
Yeah, that level 6 can really help out. Getting swaps off in ganks, especially if you have a smoke or something like that. Just having the ability to swap can really make a big impact. Unless it's on a Storm Spirit. And Windrunner has some getaway maneuvers, but the rest of the heroes are a little iffy. And Vengeful Spirit's going to deny that regen rune on the top lane, so that's not going to anybody, but that's not a big deal either because the only bottle heroes so far are Shadow Shaman, so more than anything, it might be an issue for him, and he's actually going to swing bottom. Oh, a little bit of miscommunication. He went bottom to check for rune, but the rune was already gone, man, so a little miscommunication there.
I think it was the wards from the Venomancer deny the rune. Maybe maybe the Venge did not see it. They're like, oh, okay, where is it? And then they check bot, which was not there, and they're like, oh, they pieced 2 to 2 together and be like, oh, okay, that's what happened.
Okay.
And
that makes sense. It confused even me.
Yeah, the gang is going to be coming on the bot lane here. Hannah Montana is going to get pulled, and that is going to be it. Nuke, a couple more nukes. Where is he? Yeah, there's a Shockwave, and they're going to pick that one up. Nicely done, and also force a south here from Chen, so that's another 100 gold down the drain. And Musica hits level 6, so watch out for him. He does already have treads finished. Nice farm for him. And he could actually just TP right back in the base, get an immediate heal up, and you don't know which lane he's going to be ganking into. Such an early Storm Spirit is so dangerous.
And Windrunner taking some damage on the top lane. Priest of the Moon wants to get this kill. Is she going to be able to grab it? She does need a Starfall. Has a level 3. There's the Sprout, bad for risk, but he does Tango out, and he still has 100 HP. And their pull, or their dive, is just going to cause them a little bit of damage taken, but the top tower will now take some damage as well. We have Roaming coming from Lifestealer. He is level 4, checking the top rune. Just a wand and a boots currently. But he does have 900 gold. Could be making some treads crook here. And Shadow Shaman going to continue laning against him as a level 4 hero.
With the Prophet trees down, of course, would bring up a Sage turn on Hannah Montana. Actually, it is not turned on her right now. Should turn that on. +2 armor is extremely big here. And I think that might be a factor why they're not taking this down on the tower yet. Hannah Montana would like to stand there and kind of tough it out, but no. Yeah, a little bit of mistake here coming from Team Fire as they're giving up a later tower, I guess. And Sage's Mass is another picked up, so are they going to be going for Orchid?
On Nature's Prophet?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess probably just an urn.
Yeah,
it seems to be the pretty basic item. Yeah, it's a very good ganking item. You can heal allies and things like that. But it's nice and cheap. I mean, the strength is hypothetically not as great on Nature's Prophet, but HP is never going to hurt too many people, especially when you invest that little. And the glyph does get popped. Is Risk going to be able to deny the last hit? Nature's Prophet's going to leave, and Priest of the Moon is going to try to get him. Nature's Prophet actually last hits it with Trian, teleports past, arrow almost hits on Risk. That was a really good attempt there. So that's where he teleported to. I thought he was going bot lane or something.
That's a ninja teleport, because that's what I was expecting to. Oh man, he's using teleport just like a blink, and hey, it almost got a kill on Risk. Risk like, whoa, what is this special tactics? Did not expect that one. But it looks like after that, the game is going to restabilize. On the bot lane here, we see Music doing a very good job. He noticed that he really can't help with the little mana that he has. He does have water right now, so he can't actually get up to full very quickly. So instead, he's going to try to push a little bit on the bot lane, get some pressure, and force that Prophet to come back as soon as possible. And here comes Chen with 2 creeps. I think they could do some significant damage to this tower.
Yeah, they definitely can, especially with that Centaur aura. I wish he would send the Satyr up instead of his Centaur. He does disable the creep wave though, and we'll be pulling them to the left, so kind of a nice little play here. And this is going to allow the creeps to just wail on the tower the whole time. And the Satyr is going to drop the shockwave as well, doing some damage as they micro back and forth. Venge is here to disable though. He's going to stun onto the Centaur. If they can get that Centaur kill, it's a pretty big deal.
Yep.
So a little bit of experience and gold going to the 2 defenders now. And Chen only has 1 creep left over. It's going to be a little harder to finish off that tower.
Stormster just got his magical wand, treads, and bottle. This is a very successful Storm, 8 minutes in the game. I want to take a little bit of time to check the CS, but I don't want to miss too much action, as we do have quite a bit of people gathered on the bot. I think that we're safe to do so. Stormster's got 45 and 12. That's insane farm. But JL's got 37, 29 on TC here, and Prophet's got 19. So pretty decent farm for most players. Shatan's got 36 here, and Godak got 24. Winner's got 16. You expect the long lanes, respectively, have pretty poor farm, and that's kind of what we see here. But with the towers down for Risk, he's going to have a little bit more room to farm.
Yeah, that's definitely true. He doesn't have his phase boots finished yet, but using some nice power shot action to harass as well as getting last hits. And here's a team fight in the mid lane. Shadow Shaman goes in, disabling on the Shadow Shaman. Is he going to get a kill though? Stormster balls through, and the Centaur is in the mix as well. Venomancer trying to be as aggressive and keep the slow on everybody, and he will kill the Venomancer before he dies. But there are a lot of wards here. There's not a ton of mana left for X Musica. Will he be able to get out? I think he is going to be able to survive, but not the best team fight. Looks like they traded. Chen went down as well as the Lifestealer, and Venomancer also died. So 3 for 1 or 3 for 2 trade there.
Yeah, numerically went in favor her here for the Fire team. I think Lifestealer was one of the few people that went down. I think he went down second, so at the very least he got some EXP in the gank before he died, which might be pretty important, especially for very EXP dependent heroes such as Lifestealer. But Musica is the, I guess, a victor, and he's already hitting level 9 soon. We're 10 minutes in the game. I have a feeling this Storm is gonna get big, and that might not be what the Dire team wants.
If he can really get that like 15 or 18 minute Black King bar, something like that would be really, really nice for them. Once again, they do have really heavy disabers. He did jump on the Shadow Shaman that team fight. He wasn't able to kill him immediately, but in a more equal team fight, I wouldn't call that a good position to fight for the Radiant team. But if they actually had like an equal position there, and he has a really fast Black King bar up, he's going to absolutely have his way with those enemy support heroes.
Yep. He is going to be trying to check for the 10 rune as he gets in position. Back on the top lane here, Jo. Where is Jo? Just going back, he does have treads, Wraithman, and a bottle. Pretty decent farm for Mirana. I'd like to see a little bit more. I wonder whether she's going to be going massive DPS to send her Manta into whatever she needs, or is it going to be something else? Mirana has a very flexible item set, and in a game like this, I think the standard set is going to be decent enough, right?
Yeah, I think so. Could see something like a fast blacking bar, could see something like a Manta style. More likely the Manta style, that seems to be the very popular item build for Priest of the Moon players. And even against the Lifestealer, at least then you could Manta style the open wound. Something like that would be very useful. And that way you don't have to rely on your leap getting that. But the push coming on the mid lane for the Dire team Fire here, and they look like they're going to be very successful. Nature's Prophet showing up, dropping down the treants. He does have his urn finished, and the tower does get lasted by Ancient Apparition while he ults the bot lane. And that's another easy tower picked up by Fire.
Yep, and it seems like they want to press on a little bit with these treants tanking it up and do some extra damage to the tower. And still, Ring of Basay is not turned on by Hannah. I think that's just a total mistake at this point. I think he just simply forgot. And they're going to do a little bit of damage to this tower without Serpent Ward or anything like that. But no one defending. They're like, oh, we'll take this one. But here comes Shaitan and the Venomancer. Shaco shot latches on the Prophet. Or is he going to go? But look at the stun coming his way. He's going to pop Rage and get out. But here comes a Stormster, and he can have his way with everyone. No, he's going to turn back as well. Hand of God gets popped right here. This is time for Zip. He was going to pull. He's going to pull IX Mike. Can they pull him down, though? And no, look at the damage going on Music. Music's going to go down really quickly here. Trading Event for a Stormster, not the best trade right now. Is the fight over? I think not, as Team Fire is going to stay their ground and keep on pushing.
Yeah, that's a pretty big mistake by Musica there on the Shadow Shaman. I mean, he knew that they were retreating. He wanted to go for somebody, but his mana wasn't extremely high. He only had about half a mana pool. He did jump on Vengeful Spirit and pull him back, but at that point, you know, the entire Dire team was going to turn and defend him, and that ulti and the Shackle coming from the Shadow Shaman just absolutely picked him off really easily there. So that was a pretty big mistake. And there was a heal from Chen, but I don't know if it actually ended up healing because that A ulti.
No, I do believe that he healed way before, but that's when before the big bowl of damage was taken, so probably not the best heal. Venomancer hits level 7. I don't think he was able to get an ultimate in that last fight. No. Oh. That win.
That arrow, man.
Yes.
So the arrow does land. Not very often to see those arrows land, but when they do, it's a big deal. Able to pick off heroes completely out of position and stunned. So nice arrow there by the Priest of the Moon, getting an easy kill on the Windrunner there. AL was hoping to take the mid tower there. That would have been really nice to equalize some of this gold discrepancy that they're facing against, but it was not able to happen, and wards dropped on the Roshan. Nature's Prophet's so good at tanking Roshan, and then after that you just need a little bit of damage on top. So Wave of Terror here from the Vengeful Spirit, and Roshan will go down very shortly. We'll probably see this on Shadow Shaman, I guess. He's moving forward, and yeah, he is going to pick it up there. He is pretty squishy, so having that on him is going to definitely help out.
Fire is playing so well right now. I don't know if TC is hacking or whatever, but this Mass Serpent War cooldown seems to be a lot shorter than 110 seconds. He is very efficient with that, and looks like the Smoke Gang is incoming. If they could get a Hex on that Storm, he is dead. Oh, he is dead. Musica has about 34 seconds to figure out where the hell did they come from, as he's waiting in the fountain right now. Yeah, Team Fire is playing so well. They're up by 3 kills, have lost 1 tower in exchange of the 2 they have taken, and of course mid damage being done to the mid tower here for the Radiant Tier 2 tower. And now they have the Aegis. They are winning by the goal by quite a bit, and it's falling down a little bit, surprisingly, but they're still holding on to a meager advantage. How is the Radiant team farming? A lot better than I presume, I guess.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a way different situation here. I don't know, Black Shaitan getting a lot of last hits on the top lane. He does have his armlet, almost his treads finished, and Windrunner's on the mid lane. I feel a little bad for Musica there on the Storm Spirit, though. He was doing so good early, and then he just died twice in kind of unfortunate situations. The first time, you know, was a little overly aggressive, and then he ends up getting ganked by the entire team after the Roshan attempt, and that is a pretty big loss, man. 2 deaths like that in a short period of time really decreases your farm levels.
Yeah, he's back to 600 gold as he works his way up to a Black King bar. Does already have the Ogre Club finished, so we're seeing about 2,000 away, which can be a long time for heroes such as Storm Spirit. You don't want to sit around and farm all day with a Storm because of your skill set, so maybe he's going to look for a gank opportunity if he sees one, but for the most part he's going to play defensive until he get that Black King bar. Again, having the extra stun gives you so much more power at this stage of the game, where the other team simply have to wait for a Black King bar. You could just roam around as 3-4 and just find those kills, find those towers, and go for those pushes.
And it looks like Fire is once again coming to gank this Shadow Shaman. They're going to swing around at least. There was a ward up though, so he does know where they are, but they're standing a little bit patiently, looking for a hero to come up. Are they waiting for a Rune? Just kind of hanging out here in the jungle. Shadow Shaman does have his Drum of Endurance finished. No Blink Dagger on him or Black King bar started, but with that Aegis, it doesn't really matter. He's not necessarily going to need either of those items for now. Ancient Apparition just sitting on Wand with the Basilius, and other than that, how's the rest of the Radiant team doing? Any new items? Just a Bracer on Venomancer. Black Shaitan does have his treads finished if he would buy the item, but Risk himself going for a really fast Force Staff, and I think that's about it for major new items on Absolute Legends.
Yep, Arcane Boots is up on Chen as well. Windrunner, yep, FaZe and Staff of Wizardry. We do see Shaitan with treads and armlet now at this point. He's going to be using a little bit of pressure on the top lane with 2 supports hiding in the background. We have not seen this game to kind of the... and we see it in every single game. You give the Venomancer a little bit of free farm for about 2-3 minutes. We have not seen it in this game, but critically he's allowed to hit level 7 at this point. I'm not too sure whether that free farm phase already happened for him. But level 7 Venomancer will be very helpful as they're going to set up a smoke gank with double Centaurs. If you grab a big Veno Gale here on the 2 supports, they could get themselves huge ahead. And Fluff and Stuff might be paying as he is walking a little bit ahead. These guys are still being very patient, waiting for Musica to come in as well. Musica might be tipping it off. Yep, he's going to zip in right now for Jo. Can they keep him chain stun? He's going to leap out. No, the stun was necessary. Great stomp here by the Centaur. And to keep the chain stun going, and that we're able to get a kill on Jo. Are they going to push?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good. Ball laning's in, gets the disable off. The Chen creep gets just within range. if they would have missed that stun, man, could have meant the difference. Once Priest Moon gets the leap off, it's all downhill from there, because he can also ulti and things like that. But he does end up dying. He spent all of his money. Looks like his items are coming to him. It's an ultimate orb. Could have made the difference in him surviving. The ulti from AA is going to disable Musica here, who's going to have to back up, a little scared about getting nuked down. And no Shackle Shot will land. Centaurs will back off as well. Very, very tanky creeps. Double Centaur with a Ursa. And will Absolute Legends back up? Somebody's going to TP to the mid lane. It's going to be Black Shaitan on the Lifestealer, and they're going to continue farming here. And I think they're going to be pretty happy about this. Once again, their carry potential they're up against is a Priestess of the Moon here, and they just killed her. She finished her ultimate orb, but it doesn't have a Manta style yet. And there is really good team fight coming out of Fire, but, you know, once that Storm Spirit does get his Black King bar, Lifestealer already has his Armlet Treads. He's just going to have even better items at that point, and then we're going to see a Ball Lightning Lifestealer coming out, and it's probably going to just destroy a team fight.
Yep, meanwhile Team Fire responding on the top lane. I think the exchange that we saw earlier just is so stock Absolute Legend. You know, they're like, oh, 5v4, we don't want to take this fight. We're going to play a little bit defensive and we're going to go back. Shaitan in a little bit of trouble. He did not rage off, and I think that's going to be a definitely mess. We see a War Trap by TC. He is so good. He's going to try to eat his way out Shaitanist, but no, he's just too much spells flying his way. He's going to go down. Mastermind War was used, but in a situation like this, that means they have about 30 seconds to push this tier 2 tower, and that tower does not look like in the healthiest situation, so I think that one's going to go down as well, and that's more gold in favor of Team Fire.
Yep, and their tier 1 tower actually almost went down to the Storm Spirit Illusions as well as the Catapult, but it has about 20 HP. They didn't notice it, and they're going to continue going straight for the tier 2. The arrow will come through and stun a Centaur for a very long time, but will they be able to deny the tower? Shadow Shaman gets the last hit. There's a Shackle going down, but now Venomancer in a little bit of trouble. He's going to ulti, catching about 3 heroes. He is going to get sent back. No, it's not in time, and the heal from Chen completely wasted a little bit late on there, which is a pretty big mistake. Power Shot come through doing good damage to the rest of the heroes. There's so many low HP heroes. Storm Spirit is somewhere. He ball laning through, finds the Nature's Prophet, so at least they got one hero.
Yeah, he really did not want to use that pull. If he didn't have to pull, he didn't use the pull, he would have the mana for maybe another go, but jumping into 3-4 was a little bit dangerous. So he got what he wanted, which is a Storm kill here, and we're about 500 gold from a Black King bar, which might be exactly what they need to turn themselves back into this game. I like what you said earlier. They have the late game advantage. They didn't need to push top, and he's going to backdoor this mid tower. Nice! So that gives him that Black King bar. Good stuff, because most people would just forget, you know, with a team fight in between, the music he was watching. It's like, there's a tower for free here. Gonna pick that one up for myself.
Yeah, it's a really big deal, man. Every single hero on his team now gets 200 gold instead of 100, and him himself, by getting that last hit, gets an extra 350 gold for free. You know, take like 5 seconds there, last hit that tower, and get 350 gold that could have been denied of you. So pretty big, and he is going to have the Black King bar purchase sometime soon. There's the Force Staff for risk. Look like there's a mech being completed, I'm assuming by the Chen here. Not quite sure, most likely though. And once he gets that, man, they're going to be ready to team fight. I really don't think they need too many more items, but I'm sure they will continue farming. They're not too concerned about pushing towers. As long as they keep the general gold equilibrium, they're going to be absolutely fine with the situation, because as the game drags on, it's just going to get more and more in their favor.
Yep. So let's look at the item progression of the Dire side. Let's see if they'll be able to keep up here. We do see the Ultimate Orb up on the Priestess here. Staff of Wizardry up on Fluff and Stuff, and he might be finishing his 4 staff right about now. Blink Dagger up on TC, and that's he's going for initiation instead of more team fight. He does have drums as well for a little bit more survivability and mana, as we see a huge gank coming from this Venomancer. I think this Venomancer is dead, and he's continuous. Oh, he might TP out, and I think he will be. Nice. So, but he's going to give up this tower, which is not so nice. But that did force Fire, all 5 people to commit to this. They are going to transition to a bot push. But they have, I think the Venomancer has sufficiently wasted a little bit of time. And that's going to give himself a little bit of time to put up wards for this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, and just having him in position gave the Radiant team the possibility of defending that if they wanted to, which is kind of a nice thing about Venomancer going there. It's nice he didn't have to suicide to do that as well. But the Treants are now being aggressive. There are a couple, oh man, they're going in, man. Black King bar Infest on the Storm Spirit. Here they go, jumping in. BKB is going to get popped. There it goes, and they're going to immediately pick off Nature's Prophet. He goes down. Musica going for the next target now, doing a couple attacks. Looks like it's a Shackle on Shadow Shaman. Black Shaitan wailing on that 6-second cooldown on his Rage though, but buyback from Hannah Montana. And Black Shaitan's actually going to get nuked down during that time period, but Nature's Prophet, Storm Spirit does pick off the Priest of the Moon for a triple kill, and now they're pursuing after the rest of the support heroes. And TC playing that Shadow Shaman looks to be in a lot of trouble.
Shadow Shaman might be dead as Stormster can be zipping for him. Instead, he's going to go for fluff and stuff. His teammate will be getting the kill on TC. And in fact, they did. Did they? No, did he blink out? Yeah, he blinked out. Oh no, he had the Aegis, so he did die as well. And Prophet's going to go down. Wow. I think that just clearly said what happened in Team 5 with Musica getting a Rampage. How did he even get a Rampage?
He just killed them one after another, man. And
no, I mean, how was there 5 people to kill? Did Prophet
Shadow Shaman Aegis. He killed them all, man.
No, Shadow Shaman went away.
Prophet bought back.
Yeah, Prophet bought back and TP and died. Yeah. So that was a 5 kill there. That is insane. I'm telling you, during the pick ban analysis, it would be pretty cool if they do a lifestealer jump, and you saw how potent that combo was. And Stormster, of course, using a 10-second BKB was about to go crazy. And he had 0 gold before the team fight, now up to 1700. I think he might have purchased something as well. And is he backdooring another tower on top? Oh, Musica.
Man, dude, he is getting a little bit of gold influx here. He's getting so close already to his next item. I mean, one huge team fight like that's like half of an Orchid or like getting you towards your Sheepstick or something like that. And either one of those items would be really effective in this game. But I would guess probably a Sheep might be better for him. But we'll see. I haven't actually seen a Sheepstick. Yeah, he's going to grab an Ultimate Orb, so I think he is going to be going for a Sheep this game.
You're absolutely right. Great choice here in this case because they lack the stun, and having another 3-second disable, which completely invaluable, especially against Potom or Shadow Shaman, who are very mobile hero in this regard, with Shadow Shaman picking up that Blink Dagger. Shadow Shaman trying to get that BKB himself, and well, even if he gets it, he's not going to be the most explosive hero. He's going to most likely use it defensively. And here we go, another Infest on Musica, and he is out for blood right now.
Yeah, what is Lifestealer sitting on? He does pick up an Oblivion Staff. He himself is going to be getting an Orchid this game, I'm assuming. And it's kind of an interesting Lifestealer item, but it is nice just to get the mana regen up there. You can cast Open Wounds every time it's off cooldown. You can Infest, you can Rage, because sometimes there can be some issues playing Lifestealer with some mana problems. So interesting to see that, and I'm sure they will be using that in teamfights against Shadow Shaman. If they can catch him silenced when the teamfight initiations happen and just burst him down before he drops wards or something, that's going to make a huge impact on the teamfights.
Right now, Musica waiting to see if anyone's going to defend on the bot lane. It's going to force someone to defend on the bot lane because, well, here comes the Prophet, and he might be dead. He does have the Mecha and Urn. This is a very, very supportive Prophet build, and I think that support Prophet will be going down very quickly. It's very interesting to see that the Lifestealer went Orchid, despite the fact that he's been dying every single fight. I thought that might be a little bit more incentive to go a little bit tankier build. But no, he feels like, okay, it's okay if I die. If I'm able to disable, put up Open Wounds, and put up Rage and survive as long as possible. As long as Music gets Rampage every fight, I think they're okay with that one.
Yep, and they're looking for the initiation. They're thinking about going in. He's getting closer. Here comes the ball landing, and they're going to jump on Hannah Montana in a lot of trouble, and he will get picked off immediately. And they only have to spend about half Storm Spirit's mana to do that. Yep. And they're going to probably keep recycling that same tactic throughout the rest of the game. And
there's really nothing you could do in terms of avoiding that. Are you not going to defend your tower as creeps kind of keep on hitting it? It's just so hard because Storm Spirit's initiation range is infinite. Well, more than what you could handle. And yeah, this Storm is getting big. He's level 15 now. It's going to be hitting 16 in a bit. And I wonder what they can do against this.
I don't know. I think Fire's in a lot of trouble. I think they really needed to take their towers a little bit more. I don't know if their pushing power is quite enough, and maybe they should have picked up like a harder carry. I mean, they could have picked up, any hard carry for the top lane. It's not like it was a difficult lane, for the Dire team. I just think they would have been a little smarter probably to go for a hard carry instead of Mirana here. Or at least give her a Hand of Midas or something. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Team Fire was playing so well early on. Like, they were controlling the team pace, they were getting Roshan, they were pushing towers, they were getting kill on the Lifestealer and Storm. They were doing so well, and once the Stormster got the Black King bar, everything flipped apart. And that's the power of BKB in a game like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when your team is completely filled up of stunners and magic nukers and things like that, Black King bars just ruin everything, and I've seen quite a few games of that in the recent past, actually. Where like a team like MTW would pick up like an entire team of stunners, like a Leshrac and like a couple other heroes, and like a Leshrac Tidehunter, something like that, and a bunch of other random supports. And when your team gets a Black King bar just over, if you don't have a hard carry, they're going to stop your stuns from landing, and that's pretty much all of your viability there. And it's at least partially what we're seeing here, because Lifestealer, and Storm Spirit together are going to easily be able to take out at least one hero at the start of every team fight, unless they get Ghost Scepters or something like that.
Right, and it's so difficult to run from this lineup because, well, Open Wound is going to be there, the pool is going to be there, Shackle Shot is going to find two of you guys magically, and, you know, that's when everyone's dead, and Music was allowed to get up a Rampage earlier on. Team Fire about to do a smoke gank, unfortunately unable to find anyone. They are going to find the top tower. The question is, will this tower be defended? Stormster TP's right in, and uh-oh, here comes an Infest gank!
Ooh, and the nice ulti from Priest of the Moon. Is it going to save them? They are invisible now. And the disable on X-Musica, he's actually going to get picked off here. I can't believe he didn't pop his Black King bar. Was trying to save it there, and a nice turnaround by Fire. Really good play, and they're going to immediately come back in. While the wards are blocking them in, they can't push top. That's what they want to do. They change their mind, and then they change their mind again. So
they're going to ping the Roshan. They're going exactly for that. And actually, the Storm Spirit blocked the Lifestealer earlier. Lifestealer trying to right-click the bench. But that one spot, the Storm Spirit was blocking as well. This is like, no one shall pass. The wards scaring everyone. And here's a Roshan, and I think that's a great read by Team Fire. They know the Storm Spirit is going to be dead for a long second, unless he wants to use a buyback. He didn't have a buyback go anyway, so yeah, that's going to be a free Roshan. Considering that they're down at this point in the game, I feel like they're in a disadvantaged position. Being able to pick up a free Aegis on Jo or on Rasta, it's going to be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's a really nice pickup, and it's the same gold equivalent as getting a tower, but there's a blink forward. They're going to be sending Risk back. Nice help by the Chen, and wow, unfortunately Venomancer getting way too aggressive there. I mean, he was absolutely fine, was going to get sent back, and he does get netted in by Mirana, and they're going to kill the Dark Troll Warlord, so all of a sudden another hero dying there, despite the nice save there by Chen.
Yep. I think Chen saved to another hero. I think Windrunner was the save. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, Windrunner was the one you sent back,
okay.
Yes. And then Venomancer was too far forward and then got caught.
Yeah, earlier when you were talking about the late game potential of both teams, I was looking just at the heroes and I was like, Mirana and Lifestealer, Mirana and Prophet, they're not bad late themselves because Prophet could go into Hex. And then just looked about and think about what Hannah Montan's been getting. He's been playing support, so of course he is going to go into a Hex, but it's going to be a long while before he finds one, unless he keep on spamming that Wrath of Nature from this point on. But yeah, he went for Mecha and earned first, so it's going to delay his Hex for a long time, and I'm not too sure whether the Fire team has the luxury to take that time to farm, because, you know, Lifestealer and Stormster will only get stronger and stronger, and they're going to get stronger at a faster rate than Mirana and the Prophet.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The only downside to the Radiant team's carry potential is Lifestealer is a melee hero, and despite having a crap load of farm, at some point, once he's not able to like 4 or 5 shot support heroes, they will just run away from him. You can open wounds and kill one of them, but the other ones are just going to run away. So at some point, there might be a range where, assuming maybe if Musica on the Storm Spirit doesn't finish his sheep at a reasonable time, that Priest of the Moon is going to have a a Monkey King bar or a Daedalus or something like that, and have an extra damage item on top of the Manta Cell, and that's when she starts getting really dangerous in team fights.
And also, like to see. We'd really like to see the Fire already have a couple 4-staff up. Fluff and Stuff has one on the support. That's pretty big. And that's going to be huge against Shaitan. I mean, Shaitan already is really depending on initiating coming from Musica. And with the 4-staff added into the picture, they could actually really easily rescue whoever is in trouble. So, or at least ever much delay. And make the Stormster waste more time in mana. Make Black Shaitan waste that rage earlier on. And that's just good stuff going for Team Fire. But yeah, they are in a disadvantaged position. Let's see how they're going to fight themselves out of this one. Don't count Team Fire out just yet. They have very potent stun. They have great initiation. They have Swap, Moonlight Shadow, Ice Blast, Blink Dagger from the Rasa. They could turn this team fight around if they find Team Absolute Legend out of position, which is somewhat difficult to do, but it's possible.
Yeah, definitely. Seems like they've been overextending just a little bit a few times this game. Looks like Stormster will find a Haste Rune, and he's going to be happy about that. He's got 1,400 gold, so still sitting about 2k away from his Sheepstick finishing. Now there's another Oblivion Staff on Lifesteal, but nothing else since then. He's getting very close to that Orchid, but not quite there yet, and I think they're going to just push before he ends up finishing that off, which is a little surprising, but I mean, they could take an easy tower here, and in the meantime, Fire is pushing on the bot lane, so we might see a tier 2 trade here.
Yep, tier 2 trade, and this game is just so even. Look at the amount of towers left on the map. They're going to trade their last remaining 2 towers, I presume, as the mid tower and the top tower respectively for Dire and Radiant still up. 14-14. Look at the goal difference chart. This game is so even right now, and that just says how evenly matched these 2 games are. And again, late game advantage. It's an Absolute Legend, so the clock is on on Team Fire to push, and they're going to push right now. They do have the pushing advantage. As the Master Boom War will he drop down? He's just going to drop it right now. He does have the blocking bar right now. And looks like here comes a zip, and they're going to focus on TC. He gets 4-staff up. He's going to blocking bar and should be fine. Yes, Moonlight Shadow gets pop as well. And I think, yes, this defensive swap, is it going to be enough to save everyone? The Stormster blocking bar already used Shackle on Shaitan. Shaitan's going to get brought off. Nice start here from Team Fire, but will it be enough? Bottom, very low HP. He's going to get brought down. Yes, indeed. Risk's going to die as well. I think this is, what, a 2-for-2 trade so far?
Ooh, and Chen gets picked off as well, so there's another... That's 3 kills there for the Radiant team. Chen creeps are nowhere to be found because they're running from the top lane, which surely affected the auras and the damage potential a little bit, but all of Fire is still up here. You know, their damage is good enough, and they kept that Shadow Shaman alive in the initiation. Great 4-staff use, and then the Black King Bar, and at that point he's pretty happy, but he's going to get initiated on again. Another good 4-staff makes such a big difference, and Muzga's in some trouble there. He does get picked off. Wow. I can't believe it, and gonna find a Vengeful Spirit. Shaitan now disabled himself. He's got 7 seconds for another Rage. And will they be able to take the racks? That's the real question.
Mirana had the Aegis early on, and she drew all the focus, and they were able to give up the Aegis. And that was only one that died for the Dire team, and they're gonna mech up and keep on going. I cannot believe this. With the late game advantage, they traded Tier 2 Tower, which might have been a bad trade in retrospect, but here we go. They might get a kill on the Prophet. They are gonna get one, but I think for all the stuff they took, they're gladly they have that trade. Bot racks down, 2 towers down, and now the go advantage should clearly be in favor of us. We see it was just like a meager 500 gold lead. Now we're up to a 3,000 gold lead for Team Fire, and that's a decisive lead. But again, Team Absolute Legend could turtle and go for the late game if they want to.
Nature's Prophet actually teleported out of that. He didn't even die there. It was really close though.
Oh, what?
Didn't get a yeah, he survived. He was down to like 10% HP though. There weren't any stuns. I mean, they opened wounds. Storm Spirit was dead. The only stun that was coming up was Windrunner, and she didn't get the shackle oftentimes. So he actually did teleport out. So huge advantage there. They did not take a Rax, which is probably something they're disappointed about. But they did take the tower in a very convincing team fight.
I thought they took the melee Rax. They had the momentum going. Sorry for missing that one. That was huge. And now the Rax is going to be regenerating up. But I think as soon as Master Burn War cools down, they're going to make it go. Or maybe they're going to look for a gank first. We'll see.
And Lifestealer just not getting the farm. He's going to infest once again. He's so close to his Oblivion or his Orchid here, but he's just not going to finish it. Looking for kills instead. I don't know if I completely agree with this. You know, if he could have had the Orchid 10 minutes ago, he's been close for a long time here. If he could have just had it done already, it would have made a big difference in all these team fights.
I think it will be such a late item choice in this game. It's not going to be too effective, as we see both now 2 4-staff up, one on the Ancient Apparition, one on the Prophet. So no matter who they initiate, you can have an extra 4-staff to push one out. And I think the Orchid suddenly becomes a really terrible item in this occasion because, well, it don't matter if they're silenced, if they're not in position. Musica finds a double damager and he's looking for someone, but little does he know he is being looked upon. There's a Blink Dagger initiation. Musica is dead. Here comes Shaitan, but he's going to be dead as well, as we see Prophet TPing right now. Musica's dead. Shaitan trying to kill someone, but yeah, the 4-staff making him look silly. 2 kills on the carry and Team Fire. Here they go. They're gonna swing bot, or are they gonna go mid? That's the question.
This is a huge win for them. Holy crap, man. Finding 2 heroes like that. I mean, I know they're looking for the kill, but the nice teamwork by them. They spotted them. They knew what was going on. They were probably looking for the infest kills. And a 5v2 is a one-sided situation. So now they're going to be pushing up here. Absolute Legends making surprisingly a few mistakes in this game. And it's not very typical that we see them do this repeatedly here. And Fire's going to be able to take this at least 1 Rax, I'm expecting.
They might easily take bot Rax as well because the tower's not up. Master Burn Ward gets dropped. A little bit of ward on ward action. The Chen Creeps comes on to do a little bit of ward destroying, which is good. Mass Tornado gets dropped down as well, and that's slowing everyone down. But this push continues. We're about 15 seconds or so. I think Absolute Legend's gonna hold for at least 15 seconds. We'll see. Mad Style gets popped. Tower very, very low. Glyph is gonna be popped. Yeah, I think they're gonna hold in time, and the threat of Stormster and Lifestealer coming back is gonna force these guys back. But Team Fire escapes with a free tower. They're gonna be happy with that for now.
Yeah, it's gonna push their gold advantage a little bit higher there. I did notice Ancient Apparition has a Ghost Scepter. So Lifestealer really losing his time to shine here. And another 4-staff on Venge as well. So there's a 4-staff on Nature's Prophet, Venge, and Ancient Apparition. Not to mention the Ghost Scepter on AA. They just have so many survivability techniques. I just don't see Lifestealer pretty much doing anything in these upcoming team fights. I mean, he's going to drop half of somebody's HP, but he should have another damage item. past the Orchid at this point, assuming a normal carry situation. So it's been a little rough for him this game.
Yep, for the past 10 minutes or so, there has been more item progression on the Dire support than on the Radiant carry, and that's not a good sign. That's time to scream GG! No, it's actually still too early to call, but it's not looking good at all. And how big of a swing it was. It was, what, 10 minutes ago when we were talking about, oh man, Team Fire, they're in trouble, and this and that. But after a Team Fire 2, they're right back, and in fact, they are on a brink of victory here.
Yeah, they're just winning really, really good team fights, you know, despite being at an equal farm situation against like a Black King Bar Storm Spirit, and, you know, Black Shaitan was about to finish his Orchid. You know, just really great team fights won. They kept that Aegis advantage that helped them win another team fight. Just little things like that, just having slight advantages in their other team fights based on positioning or just being more prepared for those, using those Aegis, and it really did make a big difference. So that's pretty much the reason why Fire's gotten back in the game here. By winning a couple team fights in a row, stops the momentum that's coming out of the hard carries.
And I wonder they're waiting for the Roshan to spawn. Look at the amount of Sentry Ward coverage. They want to do this without being seen, and they're going to do this without being seen. But someone's wrote the Roshan timer wrong, as kind of just standing around waiting for Roshan. Roshan just trolling right now.
Yeah, I guess so. In the meantime, Mirano's going to take out some Ancients. Hannah Montana will teleport to the base, and he'll be right back. He's going to sell his Basilius. What is he going to pick up? Possibly a Ultimate Orb to work towards that Sheep. Yes, it will be. He is getting close to that Manta, or I'm sorry, that Sheep Stick, and he's coming back into the team fight. The Radiant team is just kind of hanging out. They don't know where the Dire team is. Maybe they're a little miscommunicated about the Roshan. No, there's the smoke. They're coming for it, but they're going to be late, man. Roshan is going to die before they get there.
Well, they do have a Storm Spirit. Maybe they actually even steal the Aegis. We'll see. No Storm Spirit. Nothing's going to be a temp. Aegis and Cheese gets divvied up. And that next team fight is not going to be good. As we see, if War gets dropped down, it's going to get easily destroyed. There you go.
Yep, and that nicely played there by Fire. They're constantly one step ahead of Absolute Legends this game. You know,
yep.
Absolute Legends got there just a little bit slowly. If they could have gotten there about 20 seconds earlier, we could have maybe had a team fight, but it might have gone badly for them because they had so much Sentry Ward placement. They were truly just watching and waiting to see if Absolute Legends was going to be coming in smoked in or not, which they would have seen. So. Yeah, that would have been, you know, in some ways unfortunate there. And wow, going to find a brand new Observer Ward as well. Very nice pickup there with those sentries.
Yep, those sentries. More than what we usually see, but paying its money right here. 2,400 gold here on Shadow Shaman. Fluff and Stuff's about 1,000 gold. JO's got 27 after BKB and Manta. DPS output of this Mirana is to a point that it's going to be threatening against the Lifestealer and the Storm Spirit. Vengeful Spear, very tanky, very high survivability. And I think this team fight might just be the last for Absolute Legend in Game 1.
Yeah, I would say that's probably what's going to happen unless we have a really weird team fight engagement or just kind of a weird situation. Nature's Prophet is very close to a Sheep Stick. He's about 700 gold away, so I don't know if the Dire team will push in or just wait patiently for him. Maybe they're going to wait for an opportunity. They are in position to hop in and disable anybody that comes up the creep wave, but there are Sentry Ward and plenty of Venomancer Plague Wards just to clear the creep wave, no problem at all. And Shen Creeps as well, going to make sure that they're defended. So I think they're just going to hang out here for a little bit until Nature's Prophet gets that sheep, and then we're going to see a team fight.
Yep. For what it's worth, Shaitan has his Orchid done, although I think at this point of the game, I don't think it matters against a Hex that's going to be coming their way, and 3 Force Staffs. The 3 Force Staff just kills the Lifestealer. And we see the Prophet pressuring the bot lane. He's level 17. He's about 400 gold, about 300 gold away from Hex. I wonder if they're going to wait for it. No, I think they're going to transition to a bot push. Master Ward can be dropped. Only 5 Plague Wards up. And look at that, Illusion plus Manta Style. They're going to work on the melee racks a little bit. It has regen up to full HP, but the HP will be dropping very quickly as we see Wrath of Nature gets dropped down. Treants joining the fun as well. And I wonder if the Master Ward's going to get dropped.
I don't know, man. There's so many Plague Wards up. I think they're just trying to work down the melee barracks. No, Priestman's actually doing a lot of damage here. She's going to pop her BKB. She wants to commit to it. The Glyph is popped as well, so she will have to waste her Black King Bar for this. But the melee racks does fall, so nice little trade there. Very, very articulate pick off there for Fire.
Yep, they're going to back off for now, despite the fact they could probably force away in the mid as well. They don't have Manta nor Black King Bar on the Mirana, so they're like, you know what, we'll just wait for the cooldown. We're in no rush here. We have the advantage, and in fact that the Storm Spirit and the Lifestealer does not have any item progression. We could take a while, and yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, they're definitely sitting very good. Windrunner does have the pipe up, by the way. That's been up for quite a while, but not making as big as of an impact as I'm sure they were hoping that it would this game. And Windrunner is going to be working towards a sheep stick. She has 2,400 gold, but that's a ways away. She hasn't picked up any item components. And once again, Musica and the Lifestealer are going to be looking for a gank. You know, would this game be different if Storm Spirit and Lifestealer did more of a farm role instead of this like dual man ganking role? I think it would have been. You know. When they still had, when the gold equilibrium was still pretty equal, and they had that hard carry advantage going, maybe they should have just continued farming to get more of an advantage rather than trying to push this like Storm Spirit Lifestealer death balling.
Yeah, it's so hard to call. If they were able to get the gank off and they get the map advantage because the enemy team is so afraid to leave the base, I think we'd be like, oh man, look at this beautiful strategy. They were able to force everyone back. It's just so hard to call because the game is so different. But I want to point out, look in the next team fight, look towards that Mirana popping the DD rune out of her bottle and turning on BKB and just absolutely hacking this game up because you're not supposed to have magical immunity and the double damage rune up. It is just too broken. But
what if you have magic immunity, then you pop a double damage?
Then that works. But,
okay, so
she's gonna pop it early and you know hit something, and then when she sees a stun coming, she's gonna pop the BKB and still retain DD.
Okay.
You notice I'm pretty mayo about this.
Yeah, it seems like you've mentioned it a few times, like 100% of the cast.
100% of the cast, not just 3 times. But here comes a Moonlight Shadow, and they're gonna be initiating Shackle Blinks in. They're gonna get sent back, so a couple of PKBs now. But here comes a Mirana, and that's a dangerous target here.
Yeah, she did use her ulti, but it has ran out of time. The mech goes up, so all of fire is healed up. There's the swap on the high ground. He was a little bit too close there, almost getting blocked in. He's going to force staff himself back. The heal goes down as well. Riska's going to be fine here. Will Venomancer die, though? Oh, he does get frozen. He pops his Ghost Scepter right before he dies, but there goes Musica back in the team fight, but his Black King Bar had been used, and it looks like Shatan does get the Vengeful Spirit, but that is not a good trade. And
Master Rewards still up here. Mirana pops the DD, pops the Manta, and still does not spell the DD. Okay, and they're gonna focus. Here comes Musica, a little bit of last hurrah, but he's gonna get picked off. The stun's coming in, and it looks like Jo is gonna do cleanup here. Bot Rax is down, by the way. Mid Rax is gonna be down as well. And against 2 lanes of Rax, absolute legend. No, Snoopy calls GG, and we're gonna go to game number 2.
That's a really good game, man. Man. You know, I wouldn't necessarily seen that coming. Absolute Legends definitely had the advantage at one point, and then it just absolutely swung around the other way, so that was pretty cool.
Yep, nothing more to say about this game as Fire played this one, both teams played this one really nice, and it is Absolute Legend being out of position from time to time, and that's not what I expected coming into this matchup. They are so good in terms of positioning, at least usually.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Of course, we'll be coming at you guys with game number 2 just momentarily. And after this broadcast, we'll have MYM versus Na'Vi coming at 16 CET as well. And I think for the first time ever, we're on schedule.
No way.
First time in Dota history, we're on schedule. Wow.
That's pretty sweet. Alright, I'm gonna make a tea really quick. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Alright, sounds good. And of course, this has been a broadcast of DotaCommentator's.com. He was Purge from GhostToGamer.net. And of course, I'm Luminous from DotaCommentator's.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. We'll be coming to you guys with game number 2.